You mentioned Godfrey Camille. He came into this study when he was at Harvard. This is pre-World War II. And he basically was a mess. Like, he didn't have any friends. He was really socially awkward. He came from this, at that moment, Harvard had a lot of like prominent families. He came from an unprominent family. He goes into the war effort like all other Harvard students. He basically does not distinguish himself at all in the military. Then he leaves the military and he goes to medical school, and he becomes so depressed that he actually attempts suicide. And this is at a time when, like, if you're suicidal, you're basically a pariah, right? So he's allowed to finish medical school, but no one will hire him. And so he was enrolled in this program, and the researchers were like, look, this guy's a mess. Like, we'll continue following him, but we know what the ending of the story is going to be like. Like, he's going to end up either dead from alcoholism or dead from suicide and alone and lonely. And so they continue serving him and the other people in the project. And then at some point they actually run out of money, like in the late 1960s. And so they stopped doing the surveys for a couple of years, for like a decade. They stopped doing it. And then eventually someone remembers that this thing exists, and they got more money and they started doing it again. And they go and they track this guy down and track Godfrey down. And to their surprise, he's incredibly happy and successful. He has a ton of friends. He started his own medical clinic in Boston. He was a national expert on allergies. He was like really involved in his church. He was a deacon in his church. And they continue following him. He lives until I think the age of like 72. When he right before he dies, he goes on this like epic adventure to Antarctica with a bunch of his friends where they like cross the ice floes. And he comes back and he passes away from natural causes. And his funeral is huge. Like the archbishop comes and speaks at his funeral. Like there's the hundreds and hundreds of people who show up. And so researchers are totally bewildered by this. They're trying to figure out, like, this guy seemed like he was on the path to total misery. What happened? And they started looking at the answers he had given in all the surveys. What had happened was, at one point, after his suicide attempt, he had gotten sick with, I think it was tuberculosis or something like that. It was something where you basically have to go and recover for like a year and a half. And so he went to this hospital probably in like New Mexico or Colorado in some dry state to recover. And he was so bored that he just decided to start doing things. Like there was like a prayer circle. And so he joined the prayer circle. He wasn't very religious, but he's like, I'm just bored on a Wednesday, so I'm going to go do this. And there were guys who played cribbage, and he would go and play cribbage with them. And there were guys who took a walk every afternoon. He started taking a walk with them every afternoon. And after about 9 months of this, he realized he was happy, right? He was happy because he had met all these people, because he was enmeshed in this community, because he had conversations with people every single day. And that's what was missing from his previous life, is connecting with other people. And the way he described it is, he said, he discovered that love is the most important thing on earth. Now, at that point in time, love doesn't necessarily mean romantic love, right? It means companionship and closeness.
Yeah.
And that's what the Harvard Study for Adult Development has found, is that the best investment you can make in your own life, literally the thing that will make you healthier. The Surgeon General has said being lonely is the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Mm-hmm. The thing that will make you healthier and happier and more successful, because you'll get exposed to other opportunities that you didn't know about, is having close relationships, nurturing close relationships. And that doesn't mean you have to talk to someone every day. Doesn't mean you have to talk to them every month. But it does mean that you need to create some time to reach out to that friend that you haven't talked to in 9 months and call them up and say, hey, I just wanted to reconnect. I know it's going to be a little uncomfortable at first because we have to get updated on each other's life, but I really like you and I want to have a conversation.